You're born on a regular Tuesday in a small American hospital. The lights are bright, the air smells like cleaning spray, and a TV in the corner quietly talks about the economy like you already owe someone money. Your mom is exhausted, your dad is trying to hold you and his phone at the same time because obviously the first step of your life is getting posted in the family group chat. A nurse wraps you in a blanket with tiny stars and says, "Congratulations," as if you personally achieved something. You grow up on a quiet street where all the houses look related. There's a small front yard with grass that never seems perfectly green, a mailbox that mostly delivers bills and flyers, and a neighbor who waves every time you accidentally make eye contact. Inside, the TV is almost always on. You learn your colors from cartoons and your fears from the news. The word freedom comes up a lot. You're not sure what it means yet, but it seems important, like Wi-Fi. By the time you're in middle school, you're sitting in classrooms with motivational posters telling you to reach for the stars, which is bold advice for a room where the windows don't even open properly. The lights hum overhead, the clock ticks too loudly, and half the class is secretly checking their phones under the desk. One day, the teacher says you're doing a lockdown drill. She locks the door, kills the lights, and everyone sits on the floor away from the windows. You stare at your shoes and listen to the silence, pretending it's normal to practice for something you hope never actually happens. After it's over, you go back to math like you just returned from a fire drill, not a rehearsal for worst-case scenarios. High school just turns the volume up. The hallways are full of types. The loud kids in team jackets, the theater kids practicing dramatic death scenes in the corner, the quiet kid with noise-canceling headphones on maximum, the friend who shows up one day with a pride pin and acts like it's no big deal, even though it kind of is. You walk through all of them, just trying to get to class before the late bell. Lunch smells like fries, pizza, and spilled soda. At the table, your friends talk about grades, crushes, drama, and who's working where. One friend picked up a job at a burger place. Another runs the drive-thru at a coffee shop. Someone complains that customers forget they're human as soon as they put on a name tag. You nod because you just applied at a chain store yourself. Every once in a while, there's a rumor. Someone wrote something in a bathroom stall. Someone brought something to school they shouldn't have. Someone saw a message online. Your group chat fills with screenshots and, "Yo, did you see this?" Most days, nothing happens. You show up, sit in class, do your homework, and try to look less confused than you feel. But there's always that small, quiet thought in the back of your mind that this isn't just a movie plot. A few years pass and suddenly you're an adult. There's no dramatic soundtrack, just more mail with your name on it. You live in a small apartment with walls thin enough to know your neighbors' schedules. On one side, a couple argues every Friday night. On the other, someone plays the same song 3 times in a row like it's a ritual. You don't meet them properly, but you know them just by sound. Your job is ordinary. Maybe it's retail, stacking shelves and answering the same 3 questions all day. Maybe it's an office, staring at a screen that stares back. Maybe it's food service, where you move so much you only remember you have legs when they start hurting. You clock in, do what you're paid to do, clock out. The money covers rent, groceries, gas, and a few small luxuries, streaming, takeout, something you definitely didn't need from an online sale at 2 a.m. Mornings start with a mug of coffee and your phone. You scroll through a mix of memes, vacation photos from people richer than you, and news headlines that sound like reruns. Another shooting here, another argument there, another debate on TV about whose fault everything is. You pause for a second on the bad ones, feel your stomach dip, then check the time because if you're late again, your manager will have a talk. There are still parts you enjoy. Driving at night with the windows down, music loud enough to drown out your thoughts. Sitting in a park on a sunny day, watching kids chase each other while dogs act like they own the place. Late night food runs with friends where everyone complains about life, laughs too loudly, and swears things will get better next year. You like that you can say what you think, dress how you like, follow any weird niche interest online, and find 10,000 other people who also think it's cool. That part does feel like a kind of freedom. But in the background, there's always a quiet tension you don't talk about much. When a car backfires, you flinch before your brain catches up. At the movies, at concerts, in crowded stores, you instinctively note where the exits are. If someone walks in wearing a big coat on a hot day, you notice. You don't say anything. You just file it away as one more thing to be aware of, like checking your pockets for your phone, keys, and wallet. Safety becomes another app running in the background, always on, never fully closed. One evening, after a long day at work, you stop by a small convenience store on your way home. The sky is turning orange, your feet are sore, and your phone is barely hanging on at 5%. You grab a drink from the fridge, maybe a snack you know you shouldn't buy, but do anyway. The cashier nods in that familiar, "I've seen you here before" way. You pay, tuck the receipt into your pocket, even though you'll never look at it again, and step outside. Near the parking lot, two people are arguing. At first, it sounds like background noise, the kind of loud conversation you hear and ignore all the time. Raised voices, sharp words, hands moving a bit too fast. You think about walking around them, but you're tired and home is close, so you just keep your head down and continue. Then there's a loud crack. Then another. People shout. Someone drops a bag, someone else hits the ground. Your body moves before your brain does. You duck behind a car, heartbeat pounding in your ears. The drink you just bought slips from your hand and rolls under another car. You listen to the chaos, more shouts, a car door slamming, footsteps running, somewhere in the distance the sound of sirens starting up like they always do after the fact. In that moment, it doesn't feel like a news story or a debate topic. It feels like your street, your day, your very normal life tipping sideways. For everyone else watching from far away, it might become another headline that fits what they already think about America. For you, it's a reminder that you did everything right, went to school, worked your job, minded your business, and still ended up here. Maybe you walk away that night, heart still racing, with a story you'll never tell the same way twice. Maybe you don't, and your name shows up for a day in places you've never been, spoken by people who never knew you. Either way, your life wasn't just that one moment. It was the quiet mornings, the dumb group chats, the boring shifts, the small freedoms, the background worries, and the strange feeling of growing up in a place where the American dream and the American reality live side by side, always arguing, never quite agreeing. And somehow, through all of that, you still wake up every day, make your coffee, check your phone, and step back into it. Because this is the only version of normal you've ever known.